Hi guys, welcome back. In this video, we're going to be discussing about what is positive versus normative statement, an important topic especially for your paper 1 MCQs. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe if you haven't and share your channel with your friends so that they may also learn from these videos. Now guys, starting with what positive statement is. Positive statements are defined as being objective, factual and testable. Now the main word here is testable, and remember that when statements are objective, they are testable because they are not representing a value judgment. For instance, I'll give you an example. This can only be explained through an example. So, positive statements have certain features whereby we say that they describe the statement as it is, not as it should be. Because when I say that this should be something like this or something should be like this, it is implying my value judgment or my way of expressing it, or my way that it should be like that or like this, and that is what a value judgment is, which is a normative statement. While a positive statement, on the other hand, guys, remember that when we say they are objective and they are factual, now factual doesn't necessarily means that we're not saying that the statement is a fact, because factual here means that they could be tested, they're objective in that context, right? Because a positive statement could be false as well. So remember that the key feature of a positive statement is that they are testable, which means that through empirical evidence you can confirm the statement or refute the statement through observation, statistics, or experiments. That is, these are the sources of testing. You have evidence based on observation, statistics, or experiment, right? And you can refute it, acknowledge it, or say that yes, it's right, or say no, it's wrong. So factual, a lot of students, because factual word is often found in textbooks as well, a lot of students think that this is, maybe you're talking about a fact rather than something that is true. For example, if we say that the sun revolves around the earth, now that is also a positive statement, and we'll say that it's factual, because not because it's true, but because factual in the sense that you can actually put this statement to test. We can test it. We can ask, we can look at the space, and we can ask NASA to provide us with data that whether the sun revolves around the earth or not. So a positive statement is a statement that could be tested, and based on that you can actually reject it. No, we're saying no, it's not the sun revolving around the earth. In fact, it's the other way around. So a statement that could be tested is a positive statement based on evidence and observation. So when you're saying factual, what we mean is that it is factual in the sense that it makes a claim about the real world, or any statement which makes a claim or something that could be tested against the evidence, and it might turn out to be true or it might turn out to be false. But what matters to us is that it is testable and verifiable in principle. For example, if we look at the statement that increase in interest rates reduce consumer spending, now we can actually observe, and we can look at past data to see that whether this happens or not, that whether it reduces consumer spending or not. So it's testable with data. The unemployment rate in Pakistan was 8.5% into 2024. Now we can find that out, that whether it was 8.5% or whether it was 10. And based on that, we can amend our statement that, oh, you know what, it wasn't 8.5, it was 10%. So statement that can be checked against official statistics from, we can go on the Pakistan Bureau of Statistics website and find that out. Again, if the price of petrol rises, the demand for cars with high fuel consumption falls. Now this is again a testable claim, that yes, we can test it, that if the price of petrol rises, does the demand for cars falls or not? So we have data from real world, and we can confirm or reject the prediction that we are making, that if the price of petrol rises, the demand for cars with high fuel consumption will fall or not. This isn't a value judgment, right, guys? So factual statement doesn't necessarily means here that it's a statement that is true. Factual means it is testable. Well, on the other hand, economists classify other sort of statements as there's another category of statements which are normative statements. And since, like I said, positive statements are objective statements, but the opposite of objective is that, they are positive statements are normative statements are subjective. It's a subjective statement. For example, I say that I don't think, this year, for example, I say that the October-November exams this year will be difficult. Now that, or sorry, let's say I say that the October-November exams were difficult. Well, it's my opinion because others didn't found it difficult, right? So it's a subjective. That is why we're saying it's subjective. It would differ in terms of value from person to person. So that is why and such statements are known as, and that's why we are saying a value judgment, opinion based statements. So they describe things as what should be or what ought to be, or what is undesirable or what is desirable. Or I say that revising a day before the exam is the best way to get good grades. Now, again, that's my opinion, right? So it's a normative statement because it's my opinion that revising a day before the exam is the most desirable thing to do. While someone else might say that, revising 2 days before the exam is the best thing to do, while revising a day before the exam is not a good thing or not a strategy. It increases stress. So, again, normative statements would describe what should be, what ought to be, or what is desirable or what is undesirable. And these views are based on ethical considerations, political considerations as well, or personal, or they could just be personal views, right? The key feature of a normative statement is that they cannot be tested true or false purely by data. You can't just put a value judgment to test and say it's true or false, right? For instance, let's say, I'll give you an example. For instance, let's say that we say that, for example, a statement we read that the government should reduce income inequality. Now, a government should reduce income inequality. This statement that inequality should be reduced by the government is again talking about whether inequality is desirable or undesirable or fair, right? Whether it is fair to reduce income inequality or not, whether it is desirable to reduce income inequality or not, or is it undesirable to reduce income inequality or not. So the statement is saying that in fact reducing income inequality is a good thing to do. It's desirable and fair, therefore we should reduce income inequality. Now this is again a value judgment. So this is a judgment, subjective opinion, which depends on values. For example, our government, let's say, is too much, let's say, for instance, focused on reducing income inequality these days. Let's say, for instance. So it's based on whether the government believes, right? It's opinion based. It believes reducing income inequality is a right or wrong thing to do, since that depends on the government's personal or societal views. So it's, for example, this government believes that we should reduce income inequality, while the previous government believed maybe we should focus on the balance of payment crisis that we're having. So again, this right or wrong or desirable or not desirable is basically based on what we think is our personal or societal views. So hence normative statements are concerned with judgments or opinions about what is fair or not fair, what is desirable or not desirable, what is equitable. So it's based on fairness, equity and welfare, what we think is the best thing to do. Or value judgments are always divided between opinions, are always, when someone has an opinion, that opinion could either be good or bad, but the ultimate objective of an opinion is to state that whether something is desirable or not, or fair or unfair, or equity, or there's equitable or unequitable, or whether it's something good for the welfare or not. So that is why we're clubbing it like this. So the examples that we could give is that, for instance, the government should increase spending on education. Now, this itself statement is based on the belief that education is socially desirable, right? Sorry, I should have written the education is socially desirable. That is why we should spend more on education. Again, value judgment, opinion, subjective, right? High income inequality is unfair and the rich ought to be taxed more. Now that's again your opinion or my opinion. So again, it depends on the value judgment about fairness. What according to you is fair might not be the same. I might not hold the same values, or I might not hold the same value judgment or opinion about what I think is fair versus what you think is fair, right? So Pakistan must again subsidize food for the poor to ensure social justice. So again, this is again a recommendation. You're prescribing a recommendation that Pakistan must subsidize. Subsidize means to make it cheaper. Simple. Understand this right now at this level. When although we'll see what subsidies are later on, but subsidize means to make it cheaper. So Pakistan must make food cheaper for the poor to ensure social justice. Now again, it's a recommendation, it's a prescription. You can't, which is not testable with evidence alone. As in, this is a value judgment. It's based on what you think should be done, or Pakistan must subsidize food to ensure social justice, right? So because again, subsidizing food could have various problems as well, or maybe I could have a different view on it. So remember that the key features of a normative statement is that they're value laden. So whenever something has a value in it, as in value, as in I say, you know what, I don't like black cars because I find them quite let's say I say yeah. So I don't know what to say, but I don't like black cars because I don't find them nice. Now it's my thing, right? It's not maybe someone really likes black cars. So it's value laden. The statement that I don't like black cars because I don't find them nice, or they don't appear to be nice, is my own value. So it's, or I could say, you know what, you shouldn't be studying from this particular college or teacher because he or she is not that good. Again, a prescriptive recommendation. Value, it has a value attached to it. It's a judgment, normative statement. So it depends on personal or societal views with what you consider about fairness, equity, or welfare, right? That's why we're saying these are basically judgments. That is the key difference between positive and normative statement, guys. And normative statements, the best thing to understand about normative statements, especially when you're doing MCQs, is that think that whether they are testable or not. If something is testable, it could be rejected or accepted or amended, because based on evidence, we can either reject what we are saying, we can accept what we are saying, we can say, oh yeah, he's right. I mean, the statement itself is correct. It's a fact that this really happens. Fact as in it's true. For the purpose of what I'm saying right now, it's true. You can either say it's true or false based on evidence or testing it, right? Or observation or experiments. Or we can make so the initial claim that we made that sun revolves around the earth, after looking at NASA's data, we found out that, oh, you know what? After exploring space, we found out it's the earth revolving around the sun. So we amended that statement. Right, guys? Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to be ending the video here. Until then, take care.